Many lessons on this song focus on James Burton's live treatment using open position chords and a country feel. For this lesson, we're going to focus on the studio version, which is Reggie Young's treatment using bar chords and a more straight time feel. We're going to use the neck pickup for a nice warm tone and hybrid picking to arpeggiate the chord sequences. The intro begins with a G bar chord played at the 3rd fret. Start with your first finger barring across all 6 strings. Add the 3rd finger to the 5th fret of the 5th string, 4th finger to the 5th fret of the 4th string, and your 2nd finger to the 4th fret of the 3rd string. With the pick, play a downstroke on the 6th string, a downstroke on the 5th string, and then with your middle finger and ring finger on your picking hand, pick the 4th and 3rd strings together. Then return with the pick, playing the 6th string. Next we're going to play a D note on the 5th fret of the 5th string, and then hammer into an E note on the 7th fret, which sets us up for a first inversion C chord. Keep the E note sustaining, and then with your first finger, bar across the 5th fret of the 3rd and 4th string. Play these 2 notes together, then return to the E note on the 7th fret of the 5th string, go back to the 2 notes played together again, and then we finally return to the D note on the 5th fret of the 5th string that we started from. Start this sequence with the downstroke on the 5th string followed by the hammer-on. Next play the 3rd and 4th string together with your middle finger and ring finger, re-pick the 5th string with a downstroke, go back to the hybrid pick notes with your middle and ring finger, and then return to a downstroke on the 5th string. For the intro sequence, the G to first inversion C chord repeat 4 times. That would sound like this. The verse begins with 2 more cycles of the G to first inversion C chord. Then the whole phrase moves to outline 2 new chords. Here we outline a C major chord by playing the 3rd fret of the 5th string with your first finger, 5th fret of the 4th string with your 3rd finger, and then the 5th fret of the 2nd and 3rd strings with your little finger. The picking sequence is almost the same as the G chord at the start of the song. However, this time there's an extra part added at the end. We play a downstroke on the 5th string, a downstroke on the 4th string, hybrid pick the 2nd and 3rd strings with your middle and ring finger, return to the 5th string and play a downstroke, and then add 1 more set of hybrid notes on the 2nd and 3rd string played with your middle and ring finger. Next we move on to a first inversion F chord, but like before, this begins with a melodic setup note. With your first finger play the 5th fret of the 4th string, and then hammer to the 7th fret of the 4th string. Then with the side of your first finger bar the 2nd and 3rd strings at the 5th fret, and with your 2nd finger play the 6th fret of the 2nd string. To mirror the melodic phrase that we heard in the first sequence, we start off with the hammer-on, then we play the 2nd and 3rd string notes together, re-pick the note on the 7th fret of the 4th string with a downstroke, re-pick the notes that are played together on the 2nd, 3rd strings, and then return to the 5th fret on the 4th string played as a single note. The first 2 phrases of the verse sound like this. Next play a D chord by playing the 5th fret of the 5th string with your first finger. Then play the 7th fret of the 4th string with your 3rd finger, and the 7th fret of the 2nd and 3rd string with your little finger. This is followed by a C chord using exactly the same shape down at the 3rd fret. Here the picking sequence changes to a downstroke on the 5th string, a downstroke on the 4th string, hybrid pick the 2nd and 3rd string with your middle and ring finger, return to the 5th string and play a downstroke, repick the hybrid pick notes on the 2nd and 3rd string, return to the 5th string and play it twice with a downstroke, and then with your middle finger play the 4th string and then return to the 5th string with a downstroke. Played over the D and C chord, that would sound like this. The first cycle of the verse concludes with one more cycle of the G to first inversion C chord from the start of the song. For the next phrase, repeat the verse sequence as far as the descending D to C major chord. Then conclude with the D chord played at the 5th fret, the C chord played at the 3rd fret, and then we add a B minor chord by barring across the 2nd fret up to the 5th string with our 1st finger, then playing the 4th fret of the 4th string with our 3rd finger, 4th fret of the 3rd string with our little finger, and then 3rd fret of the 2nd string with our 2nd finger. And finally returning to the D chord played at the 5th fret. For each chord in the closing sequence, pick a downstroke on the 5th string, a downstroke on the 4th string, hybrid pick the 2nd and 3rd strings, and then return to the 5th string with a downstroke. Across the whole sequence that would be the intro, 2 cycles of the verse progression and closing chord sequence all played together sound like this.